When the night falls over the woods near Niagara Falls, the wind moves through the trees, making them rustle like whispers in the dark. Hidden in these woods is a place most people avoid after sunset. An old forgotten tunnel surrounded by stories of fear and mystery. They say if you go inside at midnight and light a match, you will hear a scream. A terrible, chilling scream. This is the Screaming Tunnel, and this is its story. A long time ago, before highways and big roads, a small farmhouse stood near the tunnel. A little girl lived there. Some say she had golden hair that shined in the sunlight. Others say she always looked sad. She was quiet and mysterious. Her name, lost to time, was never spoken aloud, for she became more known for her screams than anything else. One fateful night, a fire broke out at the farmhouse. The flames spread with terrifying speed, consuming everything in their path. The girl, terrified, ran barefoot through the dark night, her heart pounding with each step as the smoke clawed at her lungs. She made it to the tunnel, hoping that its dark walls would offer her protection from the inferno. But the fire was relentless. It caught her, wrapped around her like a monster, burning her flesh and soul. She collapsed within the tunnel's cold stone walls, her scream rising in the smoke-filled air. And then, silence. The tunnel, once full of life, became a tomb of despair. Another version of the story is even darker. It speaks of a cruel father, a man whose rage could not be contained. His wife had plans to leave, to escape his abusive grip with their daughter, but he would not allow it. One cold night, he took his daughter deep into the tunnel, far away from the safety of the farmhouse. He struck a match, its light flickering, illuminating the little girl's frightened face for a brief moment. Her oil-soaked dress caught the flame in an instant. The fire spread, engulfing her in its cruel embrace. Her screams echoed off the stone walls, filling the air with terror. And then, nothing. Silence. The father turned his back and walked away, leaving her to die, her voice still lingering in the tunnel's cursed air. But she never truly left. Some say her spirit is still there, trapped in the tunnel's cold embrace, waiting for someone to light a match to acknowledge her pain. If you visit at midnight, if you dare to strike a match, the atmosphere will change. You'll feel it, the thick air, the weight of something unseen. And then, just as the flame flickers and dies, a scream. The tunnel itself is not as ancient as the legend. Built over 100 years ago, it was designed to serve a simple purpose, as a drainage passage for the Grand Trunk Railway. Its stone walls and arched ceiling were intended to prevent flooding in the area, an ordinary function for an otherwise unremarkable structure. But over the years, the tunnel became something more. It became a place of fear, a place of mystery. There are no official records of a fire in the tunnel, nor is there any documentation to support the stories of a girl's tragic death. History offers no definitive answers. But history isn't always enough to explain what people believe. And people believe. They say they have seen strange lights near the tunnel, flickers of movement in the corner of their eyes. They feel a presence, a cold breath on the back of their necks, an oppressive weight hanging in the air. And sometimes, in places where there is no explanation, belief becomes the truth. The tunnel's reputation has spread far and wide, attracting the attention of ghost hunters and paranormal investigators. Equipped with cameras, recorders, and all kinds of tools to capture the supernatural, they enter the tunnel with hopes of finding answers. Yet, many who have dared to venture inside have left with more questions than they came with. Those who have entered the tunnel say that the air grows colder the deeper they go. They hear footsteps behind them, soft, almost imperceptible, though no one else is there. Some have claimed to hear whispers, faint murmurs that seem to come from nowhere. Others have experienced a sense of being watched, as if unseen eyes are always lurking just beyond their reach. One investigator, braving the tunnel alone, stood in the center, his flashlight flickering, heart racing. He struck a match, its tiny light struggling to stay alight in the oppressive darkness. The match held steady for a moment, then flickered, its flame dancing before snuffing out completely. No wind, no draft, just the choking dark. And then a scream, high-pitched, unbearable, coming from every direction but from nowhere. Another team set up cameras, recording every sound, every shadow. They played the footage back later and heard something shocking. On the tape, a voice, soft, sorrowful, whispered through the static. A little girl's voice, repeating the same desperate words over and over again, "Help me." The legend is simple but terrifying. To summon the spirit, to hear the scream, you must visit the tunnel at midnight, stand in its heart, strike a match. If it stays lit, you are safe. If it flickers and dies, run. Skeptics claim it's merely the wind, a natural draft moving through the tunnel's stone walls. But those who have dared to try the test know the truth. When the match goes out, the air thickens, the atmosphere grows heavy with a presence you can't explain. Some claim to feel something cold and breathing near them. Others hear something too quiet, too faint, for their ears to fully understand. An echo of something that isn't supposed to be. But there are those who leave the tunnel changed, unable to shake the feeling of something lingering with them, always watching. A voice that calls to them in their dreams, a mark on their skin, as though touched by the spirit herself. The tunnel still stands today, a place of dark memories and chilling stories. But is it simply a tale to spook the brave, a story passed down over generations? Or is something more sinister locked inside those cold stone walls, something ancient and restless waiting for the next curious soul to enter? Some stories fade away with time, but not all of them. The screaming tunnel still lingers in the shadows of Niagara Falls, waiting, watching. It's a place that doesn't let go, even long after you've left. If you ever find yourself near that cursed tunnel at midnight when the wind howls through the trees and the moon casts eerie shadows on the ground, listen, because some screams never really fade. Have you ever ventured to the screaming tunnel? Have you heard its haunting call? If not, would you dare? Share your experiences in the comments. And if you haven't gone, do you think you could? Would you take the midnight challenge? Thanks for watching. Good nightmares and stay scared.